The first time she grabbed my hand, I thought I was being robbed. Her fingers were ice cold, trembling, desperate, and before I could react, she pressed herself against my side and whispered something that made my entire body freeze. "Please, pretend you're my boyfriend." I turned toward her in complete shock. Her eyes were wide with panic. Not fake panic. Real panic. The kind that makes your voice shake and your breathing uneven. Behind her, about 20 feet away, a sharply dressed man in an expensive suit was scanning the cafe, clearly searching for someone. She tightened her grip on my hand. "Please," she whispered again. "Just for 5 minutes." And somehow, before logic could catch up with emotion, I nodded. Sometimes, life changes not because of big decisions, but because of one impulsive yes. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, second chances, and unexpected love can change lives, please like this video, comment below, share it with someone special, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more emotional stories like this to life. 3 minutes earlier, my biggest problem had been figuring out how to stretch $11 until payday. I was sitting in a small corner cafe near downtown, pretending to look busy on my old laptop while actually checking job rejection emails. Again. Another rejection. Another, "We regret to inform you." I had graduated with decent grades. I worked hard. I stayed honest. Yet somehow life had become a brutal cycle of interviews, rejection, bills, and silence. My rent was overdue. My phone service was about to be cut. And my confidence had been shattered so badly that even opening email felt like emotional warfare. That was the exact moment she walked in. She didn't look like someone who belonged in my world. She was elegant but not flashy. Expensive coat. Sharp posture. Grace in every movement. But none of that mattered because what stood out most was the fear in her eyes. She kept looking behind her. Then she saw me. No warning. No hesitation. She walked straight over and sat beside me like she had known me for years. Then came the whisper. "Pretend you're my boyfriend." My brain screamed no. My mouth said yes. She immediately wrapped both hands around my arm and leaned her head lightly against my shoulder. The man in the suit spotted us. He began walking toward our table. My heart started hammering. I didn't know who this woman was. I didn't know who that man was. But something about her trembling hands told me enough. She was scared. And fear that real doesn't lie. The man stopped at our table. He was polished. Wealthy. Controlled. But his smile felt wrong. Too sharp. Too calculated. His eyes landed on the woman. "There you are." She stiffened beside me. He glanced at me, then at our intertwined hands. "And you are?" Every instinct told me to back down. But then I felt her fingers shake harder. Something inside me changed. I sat straighter. "I'm her boyfriend." The lie came out smoother than expected. The man studied me. His expression didn't change, but something cold moved behind his eyes. "Interesting." He looked at her. "You didn't mention him." She lifted her chin. "I didn't think I needed to." Silence. The kind that stretches forever. Then he smiled. That fake smile again. "Well. I apologize for interrupting." He placed a business card on the table. "When you're done pretending, call me." Pretending. The word hit like an insult. He turned and walked away. Only when he disappeared did she let go of my arm. She inhaled sharply. Then exhaled like someone who had narrowly escaped drowning. For several seconds neither of us spoke. Then she did something unexpected. She laughed. Not because anything was funny. But because the adrenaline had nowhere else to go. And somehow, I laughed too. What was that? I finally asked. She stared at the business card. A terrible date. That didn't look like a date. It wasn't supposed to become one. She rubbed her temples. My board keeps arranging meetings with powerful men. Investors. Executives. People they think are suitable. Suitable for what? My future. I frowned. Your parents? She gave a sad smile. No. My company. That confused me. But before I could ask more, she stood. The panic was gone now. She looked composed again. Powerful. Like the terrified woman from moments ago had vanished. Then she reached into her bag and placed cash on the table. Way too much cash. I pushed it back. No. It's a thank you. I said no. Her eyes met mine. Something changed in her expression. Respect. Most people in my position would have taken it. I needed money badly. But helping someone shouldn't come with a price tag. She slowly withdrew the cash. Then thank you. You're welcome. She nodded. Then walked toward the exit. I thought that was it. One bizarre moment. One strange encounter. A story to laugh about later. At the door, she paused and looked back. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. I blinked. What? She pointed at my laptop screen. I turned. My inbox was still open. So was the rejection email. She had seen it. There's an interview tomorrow, she said. I frowned. With who? She smiled faintly. You'll see. Then she left. Just like that. No explanation. No name. Nothing. I stared at the door for a full minute. Then I looked down. A card sat on the table. She hadn't left the cash. She left her card. One line. An address. 10 a.m. That was all. I barely slept. My mind kept replaying everything. Was it a prank? A scam? A joke? By morning, curiosity defeated logic. I wore my only decent shirt. It had a small tear near the sleeve. I hid it under my jacket. Then I took the bus across the city. The address led me to a skyscraper. Not just any building. One of the most prestigious corporate headquarters downtown. I stopped walking. No. No way. People in luxury cars entered through the front. Employees moved with purpose. This wasn't my world. I checked the card again. Same address. Security stopped me at reception. Name? I gave it. The receptionist typed. Then her expression changed instantly. She stood. Please follow me. That scared me more. She escorted me past glass offices, executive floors, private conference rooms. Every step made me feel more out of place. Finally, she stopped outside massive double doors. She opened them. I walked in. And froze. The room was enormous. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. At the far end stood a sleek desk. Behind it sat a woman in a dark tailored suit. Calm. Confident. Powerful. Her hair tied neatly. Expression unreadable. But I knew those eyes. My stomach dropped. It was her. The woman from the cafe. Only now she didn't look scared. She looked dangerous. In the best possible way. The receptionist quietly left. The doors closed. Silence. I stared. She stared back. Then she spoke. Good morning. No nervous whisper. No panic. Only authority. I swallowed. You're. She finished the sentence. The CEO. My brain stopped functioning. CEO? Of this company? The company? The one I had applied to 6 months ago? The one that rejected me without interview? She gestured toward the chair. Sit. I sat. Barely. My pulse thundered. She opened a file. My file. She looked down. Then up. Tell me why you need this job. I blinked. What? She leaned back. This is your interview. I couldn't process anything. Yesterday I pretended to be this woman's boyfriend. Today she was interviewing me as CEO. Nothing about this felt real. I managed words. Why? She studied me. Because yesterday, you did something rare. I lied? That made her smile. No. She folded her hands. You protected someone weaker without expecting reward. Her gaze sharpened. When I offered money, you refused. I stayed silent. She continued. In this building, I am surrounded by brilliant people. She paused. Very few are good people. That landed heavily. She stood and walked toward the window. When my father built this company, he believed character mattered more than talent. Her voice softened. After he died, everyone started worshipping numbers. She turned toward me. Profits. Status. Influence. Her eyes held something painful. Yesterday, for 5 minutes, a stranger reminded me what integrity looks like. I didn't know what to say. No one had spoken about me like that before. Not in years. Maybe never. She returned to the desk. I reviewed your application last night. My chest tightened. You're qualified. I frowned. Then why was I rejected? She looked irritated. Because someone in HR marked you as lacking elite experience. Of course. No rich connections. No prestigious background. Just skill. Just effort. Not enough. She closed the file. I disagree with that decision. Then came the question. If I hire you, will you stay honest even when honesty becomes expensive? The question hit harder than expected. Because I knew exactly what expensive honesty felt like. Overdue rent. Empty fridge. Unpaid bills. Loneliness. I met her eyes. Yes. She stared at me for several seconds. Then something unexpected happened. Her composed CEO mask cracked. Just slightly. Enough to reveal the woman from the cafe. The scared one. The human one. You know what terrified me yesterday? She asked quietly. I shook my head. She looked down. That man wasn't dangerous because he was aggressive. She inhaled. He was dangerous because he was polite. I listened. He treated me like a merger opportunity. Her voice trembled. Not a person. Silence filled the room. I understood. Sometimes the cruelest cages are made of luxury and expectations. Then she asked something I didn't expect. Why did you help me? Simple question. Complicated answer. I thought carefully. Then answered truthfully. Because you looked like someone hoping one person would choose kindness. She froze. Something shimmered in her eyes. Tears. She looked away quickly. But I saw them. And in that moment I realized something. Power doesn't erase loneliness. Money doesn't guarantee safety. Even CEOs can feel trapped. Even powerful women can pray for rescue. And sometimes rescue comes from a broke stranger in a cheap jacket. She pressed a button on her desk. HR entered. She handed over my file. Prepare his offer letter. I stared. My mouth opened. Nothing came out. HR looked confused. She repeated firmly. Effective immediately. The HR manager nodded and left. I still couldn't breathe properly. You hired me? Yes. Just like that? She gave a small smile. No. She leaned forward. I hired you because competence got you to the shortlist. Then softer. Character got you to my office. I felt something break inside me. Not pain. Relief. Months of rejection. Months of self-doubt. Months of wondering whether effort mattered. And suddenly. Hope. Real hope. Tears burned my eyes. Embarrassing. But unstoppable. I looked down. I almost gave up. My voice cracked. I almost stopped trying. Her expression softened completely. Then she said the words I'll never forget. I'm glad you didn't. Please comment below with one word, kindness, if you believe a single good deed can change someone's entire life. I thought the story ended there. I was wrong. Because as I stood to leave, she spoke again. Her voice was quieter now. More personal. There's one more thing. I turned. She looked nervous. Actually nervous. The CEO. Nervous. About yesterday. Yes? A tiny smile touched her lips. My board believes I'm meeting someone tonight. I blinked. Okay. She exhaled. Then asked the question that changed everything again. Would my boyfriend be available? I stared. She stared back. Then both of us laughed. Not because life suddenly became simple. But because sometimes healing begins with laughter after survival. I smiled. For the first time in a long time, the future didn't look terrifying. It looked uncertain. Beautiful. Possible. And maybe that's enough. Before this story ends, if it touched your heart even a little, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these stories reach more people who may need hope today. That day I walked into the building as a rejected applicant. I walked out as an employee. But more than that. I walked out as someone who finally understood this truth. You never know which small act of kindness will rewrite someone's destiny. Sometimes saving someone from a bad date saves you too. And sometimes the person you rescue becomes the person who rescues you right back. The strange thing about fate is that it rarely knocks politely. Sometimes it grabs your hand in a crowded cafe and whispers, "Please pretend you're my boyfriend." And your whole life changes.